My personal approach would be to say, do you find it interesting? What does it make you think? How do you feel looking at that? What is your opinion? And then if that leads to a sort of discussion where we can analyse why it's here and what it offers, that to me is a positive.
What our Welcome volunteers do here very well is enhance a visitor's journey through the building. And they do that through a warmth of welcome, but they also do that by adding additional information, by giving something a little bit extra and giving that personal touch which is tailored to what each visitor would like to know.
Contemporary art brings visitors, and if those visitors can see a cathedral in a new way, if they can open up their internal feelings and their longings and their needs, if they are challenged by this art and challenged by the building, then that's a real positive.
I like to ask people how a piece of artwork makes them feel, or just how a space or an experience makes them feel, because I think that is what's special about this place. It has a special feeling anyway, and I think people looking closely at the art that is here enhances the whole visit, the whole experience.
Yeah, well, I've had instances where people haven't liked it and have been disappointed with what they've seen. It's very definitely a personal thing, and I might like something and I find that quite useful. Well, I particularly like this, but you might not. So I might relate to my own experience of it, but without taking from them, I'm sorry you don't like it, but you know, if we think about it in this way, or it serves this purpose, I have had the conversations and suggest that, well, perhaps if you come back another day, you might see it differently.
I love showing people this wonderful landscape that you see around me today. This place has got something special about it.
I think for artists coming up to Housesteads on Hadrian's Wall, the inspiration is all around them, the landscape, the seasonal changes and all of the history that's gone before it.
I think it's important that the people, you know, the staff and the volunteers that are on this site really buy into it, what contemporary art is all about really, and pass their enthusiasm on to the visitors that actually come here. And I think that will make a huge difference to how people perceive the arts that are actually displayed on these sites.
We want to programme contemporary art to encourage visitors to think differently about the spaces and the stories of Usher. And I hope that the volunteers will encourage that exploration of the history, that they will have conversations with visitors that make them think about why that contemporary art is displayed here, what does it mean, what does it add to the meaning of the place, and how does it encourage new visitors to come and see those narratives and stories in a different way.
When we have visitors who probably don't know much about art, I think we're very good if staff or volunteers knew something about the artwork. They may have met the artist or done some research on the artist in question so that they could answer questions. What do you like about it, or what don't you like about it? You know, we're not asking you to like it or dislike it. You know, let's get into a conversation.
I think contemporary art in heritage settings gives an opportunity for a different audience to come and visit. They come to see the art, but then they can see the site, or they come to see the site, but then they get to see the art. So it broadens, it opens doors.
That if you were to put in an exhibition here, I could engage with the public, I could give them some explanation about the artist, I could then go on to explain what possibly the artist was looking to achieve and give them a guide to understanding what it's about, because I would act as the conduit between the viewer and the artist, because obviously the artist can't be here.
People can hear contemporary art and they can feel a little unnerved by it. What I'm interested in is what they're thinking about when they look at it. They can like it, they cannot like it, they can be impressed by it or not, they can be underwhelmed or overwhelmed. What matters is what it's saying in front of them. I would never try to tell anybody my opinion of a piece, because it's how somebody responds. It is in the eye of the beholder. They can know context. I would wonder what questions people have for themselves, or does it make them think about anything? Is it a surprise? What does it make them think about when they look at it?
People may not like it at first, but once they get to understand it, sometimes they can appreciate it a lot more. So it's just not being scared if you don't know anything about art, or if you don't even particularly like the piece you're talking about. It's just having the knowledge and the confidence to speak to visitors and engage with them about the piece.
Well, sometimes I think it's not a case of talking. There might be other ways of communicating. So I think the question really ought to be, what's the best way of communicating with visitors, and giving them a choice of how they're communicated with about it. I think there's nothing worse than a guide who forces themselves on you and talks you to death about, you know, what they're interested in, not what you're interested in. I think the key thing is to try and respond, if you're there in person, to questions, trying to encourage them to talk about what they feel about the piece of art is probably the best way into that.
I inhabit this world, so I kind of know it. I love art and I speak to artists all the time, so I really like it. But I know for a huge amount of people, they may find it difficult, and especially volunteers who are in heritage sites and are asked to present contemporary art in their places of volunteering. So I think my suggestions were, just be open, be curious. Artists are serious about what they're doing. They've done a lot of research, they've taken a lot of care. So don't be scared to ask questions and find out as much as you can about the artists. Be open to what's happening. That would be my top suggestion, really.